I'm Toga, and today I have for you a 20-minute afternoon flow. So today we're going to be doing more standing poses, and we're going to be building up a little bit of heat. This is to sort of counter that 3 p.m. slump that we hit, especially those of us who are hybrid or have remote jobs. So this is a short, compact session that can be done in the middle of the day or whenever you're feeling your energy kind of lagging. So when you're ready, we're actually going to start standing. We're going to do a standing warm-up, then we're going to move into a sun cell, and then just do a couple different warrior poses, really trying to wake our body back up before coming back down to the mat and doing a little bit of grounding before we get back to our day. So if you are ready, please join me standing on your mat and stand wherever is comfortable for you. Make sure your hips or your feet are about hips distance apart. It's about 2 fists depending on how your alignment is. And just drop into your breathing here. Let go of whatever came before this. Try not to worry about what is coming after. And just take these few minutes for yourself. You can close your eyes down, or you can gaze down the tip of your nose. And start paying attention to your inhales and your exhales here. You don't have to change anything. Just become aware of how you're breathing. And when you're ready, we're going to do a few shoulder rolls here. So bring those shoulders up towards your ears and then drop them down. Do it one more time, bring them up to your ears and drop them down. And then just start doing some rolls here, rolling your shoulders to the back or the front, doesn't matter which. We're going to do both ways anyway. You can make these circles as small or as large as you want. Just bringing some sensation back to our body. Perhaps you've been hunched over or have been having some kind of tense feeling in your neck or your back. So we're just going to release that here. And now go the other way. So if you are going towards the front, roll your shoulders towards the back, vice versa. And pay attention to your breathing here. Make sure you're not holding your breath. And then when you feel like you're even, you can go ahead and stop those shoulder rolls. And we're going to just come into a lateral stretch here. So on an inhale, you can sweep those arms up. You can grab your right wrist with your left hand and gently pull that right arm over towards the left side of the room. Feeling that nice big stretch up and down the right side of the body. Take a few breaths here. You can go a little bit deeper if that's what your body's calling for. Maybe you play around with your gaze, turning to look up or maybe turning to look down. Just finding where your neck feels comfortable. And then on an exhale, you're going to come back to center. We're just going to do the same thing on the other side. So take that right hand and gently grasp your left wrist and then pull it over towards the right side of the room. Feeling that stretch up and down the left side of your body now. Breathing into it. Playing with your gaze, maybe turning it up, maybe turning it down towards the ground. Just finding whatever is most comfortable for you. See if you can bring 10% more comfort to this pose. And then on an exhale, come back to center and sweep those arms down to the side. Come back into your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Turn your palms forward, roll those shoulders down your back. Maybe you wiggle those toes, lifting them up a little bit from the mat. Feeling that long line of energy coming up through your body and coming out through the crown of your head. Pull your chin back a little bit so that you're in line with your spine. And just breathe. Now we're going to come into some standing cat-cows. So you can go ahead and put a generous bend in your knees here. You can place your palms onto your thighs. And then on an inhale, we're just going to do the same thing we would be doing in tabletop on the ground. So on an inhale, you're going to come up, arching your back, gazing towards the sky into cow. And then on your exhale, you're going to round that spine, curling over into cat. And just do this 2 more times, following your own breathing. So inhaling up into cow and exhaling down into cat. One more time, inhaling into cow and exhaling into cat. And then when you're ready, you can roll yourself slowly back up. And then we're going to move to the top of our mat for a sun salutation. So bring your feet hips distance apart. Inhale those hands up towards the sky. Maybe your gaze lifts up. Sweep them down. Come down to the ground. You can have your blocks here if you want to bring the ground a little bit closer to you. On an inhale, come into your halfway lift. Maybe your palms are pressing against your shins, your shoulders roll down your back, your gaze lifts slightly, straightening that back so you're coming into that shape that sort of looks like the number 7. And then exhale, roll all the way back down. And then inhale those arms back up towards the sky. And then we're going to come right back down. So exhale, sweeping the hands down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And we're going to do that one more time. So inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, dive back down. Inhale into your halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. When you're ready, I'm going to invite you to step back into your down dog. So step your feet back. Turn those sit bones up towards the sky. Don't worry about getting your heels down to the mat. You can pedal out your feet if that feels good. If you want to have a generous bend in your knees, feel free to do that too. Press into the palms of your hands, externally rotating those arms so that the eyes of your elbow are pointing towards the ceiling. Roll the shoulders down your back. And that gaze can be between your feet. Your gaze can be on your knees. Just breathe here. And on an inhale, you're going to go ahead and step back towards the top of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale into your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, sweeping your arms back up towards the ceiling. And exhale down towards your sides. We're going to come into a warrior 2 now. So we're going to start by bringing our left foot back. So go ahead and step back, one big step towards the back of your mat. Your left foot, you're going to cock that heel out about 45 degrees. Your right foot, your knee is going to come stacking over your ankle. So bend that knee. Make sure your knee's not drifting in towards the middle. If you're feeling a little wobbly, put your feet onto railroad tracks instead of a tightrope. That's going to give you a steadier base. Inhale those hands up and turn that gaze over that right fingertip. Maybe you sink a little bit lower. Press into both of your feet here. We want to equally distribute our weight between our front and back legs here. And just breathe. We're going to hold this for a couple breaths. Press into that pinky side edge of your back foot to give yourself even more sturdiness here. And on an inhale, straighten that front leg. Take the bend out of that knee. Bring your hands down. Turn your feet towards the long side of your mat. And then on an inhale, you can walk those feet closer to each other and then step right back to the front of your mat. We're just going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So that's our right leg coming back now. So go ahead and take a long step back with that right foot. Turn that right heel in a little bit so that your foot is at a 45-degree angle. And then bend that left knee, that front knee, so that your knee is right over the ankle. Make sure your knee is not drifting into the midline. You can even take your hand and help push it in a little bit, push it out a little bit. And then when you're ready, inhale your hands up into Warrior Two. And you can look back and make sure your hand's not down or up, but is pretty much even. And then you can turn your gaze over your left fingertips, and we're just gonna hold here for a few breaths. If you feel wobbly, feel free to readjust your legs. Maybe you come into that railroad track so that you have a little bit more of a base here. And then when you're ready, on an inhale, straighten that left leg, sweep those arms down, turn both of your feet towards the side of the wall, heel toe your feet together, and then you can step to the front of your mat. We're going to do that one more time. We're going to add on a little bit here. So we're going to take our left foot and step back. Once again, feel free to adjust. Do any movements that give you a little bit more steadiness and sturdiness here. And then you're going to bend that front knee, making sure the heel is underneath the knee. That back foot is at a 45-degree angle, pressing into the outside of that pinky edge foot. Inhale those arms up. And just breathe here, your gaze looking over those right fingertips. Maybe you drop a little bit lower. And then on an inhale here, you're going to go ahead and drop that right elbow to the right knee so that you're sort of supporting yourself here. And then inhale that left arm up over your head, coming into extended side angle. You can also use a block here, putting a block on the outside of your right foot to bring the floor a little bit closer. Make sure you're not dumping into your right knee. You're just using this as a little bit of support so that you can shine your heart towards the ceiling. And then on an inhale, cartwheel your arms back up to Warrior Two arms, and then straighten that right knee. Turn both of your feet towards the long side of your mat. Heel toe your feet together and step to the front. And then we'll do that same thing on the opposite side. So on your inhale, you're going to go ahead and step that right foot back. Feel free to make any adjustments, any movements to give yourself a sturdy, steady base. And then bend that left knee over the left foot. The back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Inhale those arms up. Gaze over the left fingertips. Maybe go a little bit deeper into that bent leg. Make sure that that knee, though, is not coming over the ankle, over the toes. You really want to make sure that that's stacked there to avoid any kind of stress or injury under joints. And then on an inhale, you're going to go ahead and drop that left forearm down to the left thigh. Sweep that right arm overhead, shining your heart towards the ceiling, not dumping into the left, but using it as support to help yourself turn and open up a little bit. And just breathe here in extended side angle. Inhale, sweeping those arms back up into warrior two, arms straightening that knee, turning your feet towards the long side of your mat, heel toeing your feet closer together, and then stepping to the front. And then when you're ready, I invite you to sweep your arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe you put a little bit of a back bend in there, eyes towards the sky. And then on an inhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulders rolling down the back. And exhale, forward fold. And then step back into your down dog. And you can pedal out your feet again here, or maybe your body's calling for some stillness. Claw those fingertips into the mat, keeping that J shape in your thumbs so you're not stressing out your thumbs at all. And then rolling your shoulder blades down your back and pointing your sit bones towards the sky. And then on an exhale, whenever you're ready, I invite you to drop your knees to the mat, coming into a tabletop position, and then crossing your legs behind you and coming into Sukhasana or easy seat. We're going to start our cool down now, so coming back down to the mat, grounding ourselves, and preparing for the rest of our day. So we'll come into child's pose. And if child's pose is a little uncomfortable for you, feel free to take blocks. You can put them either between your heel or under your chest or even under your forehead. And feel free to take whatever child's pose works for you. If you want to keep your knees together, you can also spread your knees a little bit farther apart, toes touching together, your chest coming down, resting on your thighs. And just breathe here for a moment. And then on your exhale, coming back up and coming back to your easy seat, cross-legged. And now we're going to come into one of our final poses, which is going to be a supported supine butterfly, Supta Baddha Konasana. So if you have your blocks, please bring them to either side of your mat. And then you're going to, I'll move these so you can see what I'm doing. You're going to press the soles of your feet together and let your knees drop out to the side like butterfly wings. And feel free to flap them a little bit if that feels good. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to roll down to the mat. So you can take your blocks and use them to actually prop up your butterfly wings or your knees here. And you can have them on your highest setting, your medium setting, your lowest setting, whatever feels good for you. And we're actually going to take Shavasana in this pose. If that doesn't work for you, just take a normal Shavasana, extend your legs, have your palms by your side, and just do it that way. But if you're coming with me, just roll down to your mat, adjust your blocks for wherever you need them, and then drop into your breath. Maybe you place your hands on your body, maybe you place them on the side of your mat, whatever is most comfortable for you. Take a big inhale, hold at the top, and then exhale. And as we come into our Shavasana, make sure you give yourself this time to really rest. Let the work you've done sink in and prepare you for whatever is coming next in your day. If you can stay a little bit longer in your Shavasana, an extra 5 or 10 minutes, please do that. Just listening to your breathing and letting yourself relax here. But if you need to get back to your day, and if you're coming out of this, you're going to gently put one hand on either side of your knees if you are still in that supported butterfly, and gently bring your knees together. Maybe windshield wiping them to the side before coming down onto whatever side of the mat brings you the most comfort, and gently pushing yourself into a seated position. When you're ready, maybe you inhale your arms up towards the sky and pull your hands in towards your chest, palms touching. And then on an exhale, bowing your head, sealing in your practice. Remember that everything you want or need is right here within you. Thank you for practicing with me today. Be well.